Right, Zitsrei Maria Zimbabwe Ndozvazvinoitaka. Thank you so much for listening to Zimnet Radio. It is 10 minutes after the hour of 10, Kuno United Kingdom. My name is DJ Sodza. My time, yes, 10 minutes past 10. And our date is the 15th of December 2016. It is a warm welcome to each and every one of you to the show. I hope you're going to be with us for the next 2 hours. Tichikurukura, what is happening in Zimbabwe there on the ground. We have got some few topics that has been sent here for us to talk about and share our thoughts and see what we can do. Let me welcome the panel for tonight. I know that there's some few people still coming. They are on their way. As you know, most Zimbabweans, if you tell them 10 o'clock, they kind of arrive around 10:30, quarter to 11, something like that. It is, yes, it is in our DNA, so we cannot change it. Right.
Yes, you can.
Sally, welcome to the show.
Thank you, DJ Sodza. Good evening, DJ Sodza. Good evening, Elliot. Good evening, Wilbert. Good evening, Sekuru. Good evening, Mukanya. Good evening, Zimbabweans, wherever you are. I hope you're having a good evening. And please, 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 I beg you, don't drink and drive. Please.
Okay.
I don't want us to be less listeners. I want us to be more listeners. So please, please don't drink and drive. If you're going to go to a party, arrange for someone to pick you up or even walk home. But please just don't drink and drive.
Okay.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Is it illegal there in South Africa to drink and drive?
Big time. You want to see the adverts we have?
I mean,
they tell you on the road, the big signboards. If you drink and drive, you are a killer.
And if you are caught, are you imprisoned for that?
No, they don't make it harsh enough.
Oh, okay.
I think the first time you caught, it's 500 rand or something.
They give you a pat on the back and say, don't do it again.
Yeah, you might go to jail, it depends, for like one night or something, or until somebody comes to pay your bail.
Yeah, maybe you can go and spend a night with Pistorius, you never know.
No, it's not that Lani. Yeah, you sleep with her on the cement floor. I've told my boys and my husband, I don't want to know. I will leave you if you get arrested on a Friday night for drinking and driving. I leave you there till Monday morning. I don't want to know.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
I hate it.
Thank you so much, Sally, for that. Koma Elliot, welcome to the show.
Thank you, DJ Sodza. Makadi muri yeZimbabwe kumatima na inyika kwese kwa muri ikoko. Yes, I think we can make Zimbabwe great again, despite our problems and issues that we are experiencing. Good evening, Sally. Good evening, Wilbert. Mukanya, wakadi Mukanya. Thank you very much. And I would like to say to all viewers and listeners that I wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind. Can I also take this opportunity to congratulate you, whether it was true or not, but I saw you with a trophy. You have been named maybe the lecturer of the year where you teach there or something like that. What has happened? Congratulations.
Oh, Makorokoto.
That's true. I wouldn't lie about that. That's
yes.
That would be treasonsome.
Well
yes.
done, Elliot.
Yes.
Well done.
I saw it and I was very proud.
I teach management and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And with the leadership, I also delve into politics.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means, I'm allowed. The good part of universities is you're not confined into a small space. So Salih might be very much interested that I also teach about post-apartheid era.
Brilliant.
Pre-apartheid and post-apartheid. I actually draw in Mandela. I actually draw in Barack Obama, the Barack Obama hug.
Yes.
Donald Trump and everything else, and I rip them apart. And it's not me who rip them apart, it's my students. But because politics is at the passion of my heart, and they think that, I go an extra mile, and of course, eventually, yesterday there was a staff award, and I got the award.
Well done, Mokorokoto. Congratulations.
Perfect.
But apart from feedback from students, it's also a recognition of percentage of people who pass through me.
Yes.
Who got either first grade, 2-1, and certain and so forth. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mkoma Elliot, there for you. Thank you. Mkoma Wilbert, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Well done, Pepe. Send me your address details so I can come and help you spend the money and drink the beer for you. You and you're supposed to be drunk, but I'll drink it for you.
I got an envelope with some vouchers, and the vouchers are for me to go and buy some suit.
You must go to the Mugabe
community. There should have been vouchers for beer and whiskey and that sort of stuff. That's the more real stuff.
They want me to be a proper statsman and a proper lecturer in suits.
Okay, right. Thank you so much. It is Christmas, so we are allowed to have a laugh. Mukanya maswera seiko ku Canada huko. Mkwasha wenye hapo wa maru yusaka, I think ifuma yenyu mova matu demand of live on air.
Animaona hana unuka taura hanzi we mukanya makazwa unodaidza mutezera kuti iwewe muchiwaraira wakoba iwewe
anopatoripa zvelaii mukanya
angatoripa hana unhu muchinda wacho yeyo
aya baba ndine urombo ndaombera
wazona paje
otherwise muri seiko mukanya
tiri nani isusu tongona wakwasha wari kupfuma vanhu watoda isu
handitika mune makuziva kuti hanzvadzi dzenyu dzakachengetwa musho
ndakadii dare
aiwa dare riri raiti mukanya mukaona tauya kudai kakuziva kuti tine utano huri nani
ko mhuri yakadini
aiwa mhuri dzinodekaira kwazvo
tinokwanisa tetesale ava mukoma Wilbert nemukwasha wangu chiti tasangana pachiware titaure sepanapa tione kuti zvingafambe ndezvipi pamutoburitsa hwaro rutu ameno toona zviri kufamba. Sekuru vangu varipo?
Sekuru vari kuuya manje kwanza hanzi vanonoka vari kumaricho.
Sekuru futi ukaona harawa dzakusenza vakomana
moza kuti zvinhu hazvisina umira musheka. Vamwe vakatukwa nambuya kuti endai kubasa ikona yongoswera makagara pamba. I don't know.
Aiwa nambuya vamazuva ano vasina musoro mari ndo zvavanonetsa.
Mukoma Belford maswera seiko kuAmerica uko?
Taswera zvakanaka kuno kuri nane zvikuru.
Tiri sei muri?
No, muri dziri nane regai tikorokotedze vapfebve. Tichiti kana vabata basa rakanaka mastudents avo abreaka down vanhu vobva vauya pano pashow isu nana mukanya tovabreaka down weivo pa.
Hey Benford, no emotions tonight, huh?
No.
All right, Mkoma Benford, thank you so much. Chief Sosheuko, maswera seiko kwa America.
Taswera kana maswerawo DJ.
Taswera.
Taswera sei vamwe vari pano pachirongwa nemhuri yeZimbabwe yese.
Good evening, Chief Shosho.
Ewe Sosheko, makunza kani iri doro kuno kwakazoita sei?
Doro riri kuuya. DJ, regai ndiise chimwe chiziviso chandaidai ndakaisa kare.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to announce, because I know when I came here to join this august platform, I was representing a political party called Zimbabwe First. I want to announce that as from last month or 2 months ago, I'm no longer the communications director for Zimbabwe First. Takasiyana nawo ana Dr. Shumba. Takungorwira Zimbabwe tiri kwatinenge tiri ikoko.
Aiwa, hano zvino.
Makazoona chiedzaka.
No comment.
Zvimbwa zvisunuri musi umwe.
Thank you so much for letting us know. Mkoma zvinoita kuti vateereriwo wabva wagara wachinyatsoziva chokwadi, handiti hanzi chokwadi achiputsuka maka.
Aiwa ndizvozvo.
Aiwa.
We need people who are bold, objective. I mean, you don't have to follow every ideology. If you disagree with the ideology, then of course you should have the right to say, I don't agree with this ideology, and it's not an ideology that will bring bread and butter to the Zimbabwean populace.
Right.
I think,
Okay.
I mean, we all do that. Thank you.
We all do that. Okay. Right, guys. Let's start. We've got quite a lot of interesting topics that we would like to cover. I think if we touch one, Tongo famba nayo for half an hour, and we go to another, into another, so that we can cover quite a lot. Because what we are doing now, what will have happened in a week, we try and want to talk about that, so that some of the things that they are in the news, but we want to elaborate more on them. What happened, we heard that Yvonne Musarurwa last Maenga Hama and Tungamirai Madzokere were given 20 years each for the alleged killing of the police officer Petros Mutedza in 2011. Menoti mungada umbotitira elaborate, because I was hoping kuti Mkoma Tichi would be here tonight, as he promised, because on his wall he had some very frank discussions with the members of the public. He wrote that Tsvangirai should fight this judgment tooth and nail, and failure to do that, he should step down. He was very vocal about it, that he thought this was politically motivated, and he wants Tsvangirai to absolutely take people to the street and show the disgust of how these three have been treated. But for some people who might not know the background of the story, and also you in the MDC there, is there anything that is happening in the background? If these people are guilty, some people are saying, well, they should go to jail for it. But it seems as if some people are thinking otherwise here.
Yeah, I think there are three reasons why this case became so much of an interest. Firstly, this the occasion is purportedly said to have happened in 2011. Ndo pakaitika bevijonga Inspector Petros Mutedza was then sick and died in hospital. And then secondly, I know Petros Mutedza on a personal note. When I say personal note, I'm saying good tea. Petros Mtedza tobva kumusha kumwe chete. Not only that, takadzidza tese. Tikatarira primary school, at the primary school level. And then the third factor is that when they were arrested, they were incarcerated for 3 years without a trial. And
is that legal in our constitution there?
The problem in Zimbabwe, yes, it is. What happened is they would be called in parliament. The police can always, legally, the police can apply for extension. So you can be in jail for 20 years. Well, on remand for 20 years.
Okay.
And then at the expiry of each detention, then the police will then go to court to apply for an extension. It is legal, and in Zimbabwe it's possible. So, and then eventually we are looking at, okay, these people who were arrested for the supposedly murder of Inspector Petros Mtedza were all MDC members who were not at the scene at the time of the murder, of the purportedly murder. So that makes it, so those are the 3 key factors that people need to understand. And then furthermore, during the whole process of trial, there were witnesses, including Takaedza Mtedza, who is young brother to Petros Mtedza. And then Baba Petros Mtedza was also a witness to the trial. They brought in court evidence to say when they received the body of Petros Mtedza, anga anema missing body parts. They actually communicated this to the police to say, initially they said we are not going to receive this body because the body inema missing parts. That information was communicated to the court. The court, as I speak, have got all those records. And they believe, in court, they said that Petros Mtedza, as far as they believe, was killed by CIO. Because Petros Mtedza was sympathetic to MDC, to the opposition.
Yet he was in the police force.
Yes, there are police officers, even army officers, who are sympathetic to MDC. Some of them have disappeared. Some of them have been killed for their association with the opposition. And it is believed because the Mtedza family, almost everybody within the family is an MDC.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So that's where it comes. And then, okay, fine. So that's the background. Then let's look at now the sentence. Yes, Tina Tungamira Imadzokere Ivoni Msarurwa last Maengam. Now I've been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. Am I surprised? No, I am not. If ever I am surprised, I'm actually surprised not of the 20 years, but that I expected that the state would put a death sentence. Because that's exactly the prosecutor were actually advocating for. The government prosecutors. They were advocating for a death sentence. Now, what does this mean to the, in terms of the opposition? What does it signal? It signals that this sentence was actually meant as a deterrent to the opposition, that the state can actually arrest them for any and then is for any crime, whether they've committed it or not. They can just frame a crime and use
the whole world know
that
about your
framed
business.
crime
Advertise with
to punish
Zimnet Radio.
the opposition
Email
as a deterrent.
marketing at zimnetradio.com.
And
Don't you wanna be there? Don't you want?
sorry, why do I say this is a miscarriage of justice? It's because we are looking at who was the judge in this trial. This is Chinembiri Bono. Chinembiri Bono is a ZANU-PF card-carrying member by his own confession. Chinembiri Bono has presided on all politically motivated trials. This is the judge who actually also tried Morgan Tsvangirai under treason. For some reason, ZANU-PF seems to have an appetite of appointing Chinembiri Bono to be the judge for any politically motivated crime. And how on that? I mean, how do we then have a sort of faith in the judgment of Chinembiri Bono, who personally has confessed that he is a ZANU-PF apologetic, he is a card-carrying member, and that he is the only person who has been used by ZANU-PF ever since to try politically motivated cases.
All right.
So we've got to do that.
Yes.
So this is where we are, and I think what we need to do is we are going to try to the Supreme Court to appeal the case. We know the Supreme Court is staffed also with ZANU-PF judges, and yes, there we are. We are prepared to go to also the Constitutional Court. We know that level again. There's a problem with that, but we are not leaving any stone unturned. So this is where we are, and Zimbabwe, we should demonstrate and we should fight this regime at all corners.
Okay. Thank you so much, Baptiste, for that. Mkoma Wilbert, I'm sure you've heard the background of the story and you know about it. What would you like to say about it? Would you sympathize with some people that says that if MDC don't do something here, really the president should step down?
I wouldn't start trying to put conditions like that. In this particular case, it's a situation where even if it was Zim People First, led by Joyce Mujuru, if a member of Zim People First is framed and the case is brought before the courts and so forth, you've got to fight it in the courts. I don't know unless our friend has got a bit more information that some of us do not know about. But I won't try to say Tsvangirai should resign because of this particular instance, because this has happened with many other political parties, and it can happen to anybody. This is a regime that has done this again and again and again. I mean, I can tell you of other incidences that has happened, some in Zoom, take care as Zoom, some of them before that, and so forth. And I know one journalist, in fact, who told me they wrote an article of somebody being beaten up and killed in Masvingo in the early 80s. And the article was, the victim was a member of the opposition, but the article was changed so that now the victim was a ZANU-PF member. And people got arrested for that. So it's double jeopardy here. You are the victim who's maybe your friend or relative got killed. And then you end up being arrested, being accused of having done something, killed the person, because they framed you. So this is something that ZANU-PF can do. But I think I would not go so far as to say Tsvangirai must resign over this. No.
Okay, that's fine. But from what you know about the case, Imimi Mkoma Wilbert, what do you think here? Some people are saying that these people killed someone, so they should go and suffer the consequence. And actually, hearing what Elliot is saying there as well, I mean, who do you think is to blame here? Do you think these people were framed?
Well, I mean, this case, as we know, like Teves confirmed, is not the first one who say that. That has also been in the paper where the relatives of the victim have said he had some body parts missing.
Right.
Now, if that happens, surely, if it was in a public place where this person was killed, and I think if I remember correctly, it was supposed the attack must have happened in a bar. You know,
Correct.
Yeah. So in this particular case,
he didn't die on the spot. He didn't die on the spot. Yeah.
Right. So in this particular case, if they're being accused of having murdered him, when did they get the chance to take off the body parts? You know, so the court would have inquired. So if these are the people who are guilty of doing this, why would they? What time did they have to remove the body parts? You know, so the whole thing you can see is really being framed. There is certain information that is being suppressed, that is being deliberately ignored. And we have also known about Chinembiri Bunu and some of the cases he has tried. Like Peve is saying there, and I agree with him, he has tried politically motivated cases, which the judgment of which you are saying to yourself, you know, this is, you don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need to be an expert. You can see there's something definitely wrong here. You know, so in this particular case, I think that is what people should be looking at. Some of these cases, my only comment on it, in fact, is to say that one day when we have finally got regime change, some of these cases should really be looked back and they get somebody totally independent, even a foreigner, to come and review some of these cases so that we really restore some meaning into justice. Because it doesn't make any sense. If somebody was killed, had their body parts removed, and then you still accuse somebody saying you attacked them in a bar. So what time did I have to remove the body parts?
Okay. All right, Mkoma Wilbert. Thank you so much. Mkoma Benford, maybe you've got a different perspective of this. I'm sure you know about this story. It has been rambling now. And finally, the judgment was passed for these guys. And some MDC people are not very happy with the situation. And actually, I didn't know the information that we got from Elliot there. I didn't know some of the details of it, but he explained it quite brilliantly there. Now I've got even more information than I had before. Mkoma Benford, what do you think of it?
Yeah, it's a very interesting case. But again, the problem I have is the conclusion that our learned brother, Mr. Febe, get to. And who is blaming? Now, if we are blaming the judge, I think we are missing the point. And he even said it himself, Mr. Febe, he's the same judge who tried Tsvangirai for treason. And we know what happened. Tsvangirai was not convicted. He was actually acquitted. So that means we are blaming the wrong people. Judge deals case yake depending on what prosecution brings and what the defense says. The prosecution might have changed their evidence, faked certain things. I agree. Those are some of the things that we might have to look into once we have a change of government. But to blame the judge, I think, is missing the point. In this case, once you start blaming, the judges, I think what Mr. Feve and their group should do, like he's saying, they should appeal. And if they have that platform, and they've done that in the past, they've appealed and won cases on appeal. But if you start blaming the system where you're going to appeal, it doesn't make sense. Because you're appealing before my judge said as unfair. I think, in as far as this case is concerned, it's a case I personally believe might have some political implications, but let us not give the blame to the wrong people.
Okay. What would you say to people who say that why is this Bunu judge appointed for all political, affiliated, cases? Why would that be?
I'm very sorry. It's not. I can't give you a straight answer. I don't know how cases are assigned to my magistrates and my judges in Zimbabwe. I don't know how that is done. While it is true, there might be my political hands in that, but from what Pepe has given us, if he's the one who tried Changirai for treason, for sure, we know they won the case.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much
So
for
it
my
means,
input.
it means the judgment, is also, impartial. So he has, he considered what was presented before him.
Okay.
And Sinembele Bono, just for our viewers, Sinembele Bono is a war veteran.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Sally. What's your take on this story here? It seems to have been rambling, and also from what Elliot said, it seems as if he's got lots of information about it. Judging from what you can hear from both sides here, what do you think? These people should go and rot in jail? They did the crime?
When was the crime committed? What year?
2011.
and they've been on remand for the past 5 years.
You see, this goes beautifully. Okay, what have we been having? The protests. They've tried to get rid of some of the leaders of the protests. Okay, Promise Makonanzi, that guy. In 1 week, I was laughing. He was in and out of jail like somebody with diarrhea running to the toilet. They would arrest him in the morning, release him lunchtime, arrest him in the afternoon, and release him the next morning. It was just unbelievable. So they couldn't make huge statements like they normally did, okay, which was to kill the person. So this case now, it's convenient to bring it now to fruition, okay? It's supposed to be MDC activists, okay? So you see, we can get you. It doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter where, okay? But we will get you. And I feel the same as Fefe about the judge. Okay? It seems when cases are meant to send political messages, this guy is used. Okay? I wonder how many farms he's got and how many Land Cruisers and Mercedes Benzes and everything else. The guy must be quite wealthy. But anyway,
he's a war veteran.
That doesn't matter. Then it's double. Then it's double whammy. Okay.
He was given farms. He was given all those you can think of.
Yeah, you see. It's there's something that people will not understand. Okay, I don't know what it is, and this is the opposition parties. Okay. The only thing I was shocked at about this was that these guys were actually alive to stand trial. I was shocked with that. Okay, I'll give ZANU that. They kept the guys alive. Okay? Because normally they dead and disappear and all sorts of funny things. But anyway.
Sorry for that. One of them died in custody during the trial. And
yeah.
That was Rebecca.
Yeah, I can just imagine why, and I can imagine what they did to her. Okay, I don't even want to go down there because then I just get absolutely angry. You've got to understand something. This business of saying, Mugabe's 92 years old and it's everybody else that's doing the governing and all this kind of business. You people, seriously, wake up. Nobody is doing anything but Mugabe. I can tell you that now. Don't think that because the man is 92 years old, he can hardly speak, okay, that he is not at the head of the whole shenanigans, okay, because he is. And these guys, this case came to fruition at a time that he needs to show power, complete power, like he's always had, okay?
Right.
And sorry to say, but it's another ZANU-PF win.
Okay. Right.
That's how it is.
That's how it is. Right. Thank you so much, Sari. Mukanya, what's your take on this story?
Right now, I don't want to blame MDC or anyone else.
Yeah.
Or ZANU-PF. Tudangotaurira nyaya sezvairi mamire azvakaita. Ende ndoda kupikisana nemufana wangu Benford kuti majaji ane bias as well. Majaji even muAmerica nemuCanada anocriticizwa all the time. Munhu wese anotonga nyaya ari bias. Hakuna munhu asiri bias. Zvinongoreva bedzi kuti kana uchitonga, do you have the ability to put your biases aside wotonga sezvazviri. Ndosaka kunoku chimwe chinhu ini chakandinetsa pakaitwa constitution inorombidzwa nana vaFevei. Vakamendena Roman and Dutch law. Vakamendena Roman and Dutch law vakaita kuti madecisions akadai aitwe najudge. I would have thought kuti since vanhu vangadai vakafaita kuti kuZimbabwe kuitwe jury system, at least muno eliminate kuti only one person ndiye anomake a decision ye-death or life yevanhu instead yevamwe vanhu, instead yekuti system inofana kuva judiciary should be as inclusive and as independent as possible. Ndo imwe failure atakaita patakaita constitution yedu iyoyi. Takambotraya kuda kuzvifighta, but it was not system yachona manje. Mamirire inoenabla the people who are in power. It could be ZANU-PF today, it could be MDC tomorrow, kuti vamanipulate a system to suit their own interests. Ndo dambudziko randinaro irori, because zvinoitika nezvekuti mangwana vachanga vari veZANU-PF kana MDC yakutonga vanenge vachiitwa the same, kana ZANU-PF yakutongo inongoitawo the same. System yachona inotoda kuitogadziswa kuti to try and make judiciary as independent as possible. And ezo chiri kuda kunetsa futi ndechekuti mukaona pari kuda kutsvagwa chief justice vakuda kuappointa zve hapachade it's complicated.
Mukanya makuda kumhanya, that's my next story.
Saka ndipera nekuti ipapapa system yachona iri ipapapa ndeyekuti it's so compromised zvekuti I cannot blame MDC for zvakaitika izvozvizvi. And kuti criticize uyu judge, I think Mr. Febe ane legitimate reason, and he has the right, anybody ane right to criticize a judge for being biased. It doesn't matter kuti akakwita ningiri ningiri uyu ningiri Changirai hazvina nebasa rose. It doesn't make him kuti hazi bias, because pane zvimwe kaza it didn't make sense. There were political reasons why they had to try him in the first place and then humiliate him and do it was enough just humiliating him there. Saka kuzoakwita, it was just an exercise yakanga iripo. But what I'm trying to say is kuti zviripo nezvekuti the system is screwed up as it is. Nekuti mangwana uyu ari kutiraiwa ndeuyu wenhingiri weMDC. Mangwana it could be Benford, it could be me, asina power, asina even associate any power, kana munhu usina power and you just become vulnerable. So I'm trying to defend these people, not because they were MDC, but I'm trying to say, as Zimbabwean citizens, is this the kind of system and justice we want? Is this the justice we need? Or is this the justice we deserve? As Zimbabweans, those are not ways that we just look into.
No, zvakanaka emukanya ente nyaya mataura sorry.
Can I just 1 minute just come in because I just want to give an example. Yakaitika ku Zimbabwe, it aligned with that. 2013, I was approached CID folder. Vanzi vapfebve munozviziva here kuti tiri kukuinvestigata, you are under arrest. I didn't know about that. And I said, what do you mean? He said, pane munhu akaripota kuti makaita kidnap and then makamutora mukamisa mu pick up yenyu, and then you started indoctrinating that person muchiimbira dzimbo dzeMDC, and then at the end you instructed your boys kuti vamudrope mota ichimhanya. And so pane charge attempted murder. Can you see? And there was nothing like that whatsoever. At the end, and I just laughed it. And this was a lady who was open. She said, no, we are not saying that you are under arrest, we are still investigating. Ndakabva kuZimbabwe isati yanhingirika, but my bodyguards were arrested. But anyway, after a series of investigations, they were found that this person, Angari CIO, just cooked up a story because they wanted to get at me. So anything is possible in Zimbabwe.
Anything is possible in Zimbabwe. Okay, thank you, Wapepe. Chief Sose.
nyika yaenda kumawere.
Nyaya iyi Wapepe munoiona sei nyaya iyi imimi? I know that you've been following it.
Yeah, definitely I've been following. I mean, I might no longer be with Zimfest, but I'm still very much part of NERA. Mm-hmm. I'm still, the person in charge of their NERA Facebook page and NERA, international advocates team. So I dealt with this issue on the NERA Facebook. Those who visit the NERA Facebook, it has become very popular. I wrote a very long statement about this issue. So I'll not go into the intricacies of it because I think I provided all the information that the people of Zimbabwe needed to know about this case. Okay. But I want to agree with Mr. Peve and Sally that this was just a way by ZANU-PF of sending a message, a clear message to the people of Zimbabwe that, if you go and demonstrate, if you go and exercise your rights, you can get in trouble for that. And we have 3 people who are, being incarcerated for not doing anything. There is no clear evidence that could have caused Judge Bunu to pass the kind of judgment that he passed. But I said I don't want to go into that. I want to focus on Judge Bunu himself. It's true what Mr. Febe said, that he's a card-carrying member of ZANU-PF. That's number 1. Number 2, he's a beneficiary of this system. He got farms, he got assets that all the other ZANU-PF members got. And right now, as we are speaking, he is in Masvingo, at the ZANU-PF conference. He is an interested party. And as a professional person, as a professional judge, he should have done the people of Zimbabwe a big favor by recusing himself. Because, if he is at the conference right now with ZANU-PF Politburo members, with ZANU-PF members, with ZANU-PF leadership, how are we as people of Zimbabwe going to view any case that he tries that involves opposition members? By virtue of all that, he should not have tried that case. He should have let someone do it, because we don't believe that justice was served. It was a great miscarriage of justice.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Chief Sose. And tadzoka ipapo, I want to talk about nyaya yanga yakutangwa namukanya ye kutsvagwa kuri kuitwa new Chief Justice kuZimbabwe. We are hearing that the High Court has suspended public interviews for a new Chief Justice pending proposed amendment to the Constitution. What ZANU-PF want to do, right, okay, let me do this. For some of you who don't know what ZANU-PF are wanting to do here, they would like to stop these interviews for the justice, for the Chief Justice post, which is going to be vacated in February, right? Kuti anzva mugabe waite appoint a new one, rather than kuti zviendeswe through my interviews to find a suitable person, right? Don't know that really explain as really right here, Papa. What it is the High Court has suspended public interviews for a new Chief Justice pending proposed amendments to the Constitution. What they want to amend is to allow the President to appoint the new Chief Justice rather than going through interviews and choose a suitable candidate, right? Kwanzi vamugabe ngavapuwe masimba ekuti wangotaura chete kuti Sodza ndiwe wa Chief Justice, and that's it, right? Which is not in the Constitution now. So they want to amend that. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about the implications of that when we come back after this short musical break. Studios. Thank you so much, Zimbabwe. It's 3 minutes before the hour of 11. We'll be back after.
rwendo runo kumakwisho, vamwe ndo vakati wanyangira yaona, vamwe ndokuti kugona mbavha kana muroyi kumurongera. Zvino panapa hapana kunyangirwa, hapana muroyi kana mbavha. Vatereri kupera kwegore rega rega tinokupai chitongwa top 100. Mugana wazarwa kuti muchitanga kuvhotera dzimbo dzamuri kuda kuti dzipinde muchirongwa ichi. Download Zimnet Radio mobile app kana kuenda pa website pedu muchitanga kuvhotera dzimbo dzamunoda. Haikona kuzokumbuka kana kamboka unodisa kasina kupinda mu top 100 gore rino.
Shumari, unozenyedze Zimnet Radio idzi. ndaswera panapa ndichiterera mhanzi, vamwe vachidonhedza ndiro dzakapenga. Iwe garapa ndati garapa unzwe masounds ari kudonhedzwa panapa. Izimnet chete iyoyi.
We have listened to better music. We have seen better things. We've been to it all. Zimnet Radio, all the way.
Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
ndisingapedzi nguva yenyu kazimbabwe regai tipinde panyaya yandatanga hapo just before the break. We are hearing that Chief Justice Godfrey Chichikausiku will retire from the bench and the Chief Justiceship at the end of February next year. Kwanziko vari kuretire at the end of February next year, when he will reach the mandatory retirement age of 70 years. Vanenge vakwanisa makore 70 naizvozvo vanenge vakukarirwa kuti vachibve pachigaro. Now, what happened last October, it was formally announced, announced it was announced that vacancy was there, and the public was informed, and candidates were invited to apply. All qualified candidates were invited to apply for the appointment of the Zimbabwe's next Chief Justice. But what we are hearing now, that the interviews had commenced, but ZANU-PF I think we should amend that and let the president choose the next Chief Justice without having to do all these interviews and all the like. So andisikuziva kuti pane vatinawo padare apa pane here vane mutundu uzere. Has anyone got the answer? Has it been amended yet? Because this information, I think it was Monday or something when this came out. I don't know whether it has been amended now that the president is going to choose the next Chief Justice. What do you think about this development? Should the president be given these powers of choosing the Chief Justice himself? Why not? Wafive, can we start with you there again?
Hello, DJ.
Hello. Yes, Wafive, can we start with you there? What's your take on this, proposed amendment of the Constitution, wanting the president to choose the next Chief Justice?
I'm not surprised. I think earlier per week, kutanga kwa week, we read the Minister of Justice had actually sent a proposal amendment to the Constitution. And I did also sort of comment on it to say, here is ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF will go to the reason why they've not implemented the new constitution is because they don't have money to harmonize the old laws with the new laws. But now, somehow, they managed to find the money to amend a constitution which is not yet law. We have not even tested the constitution. The constitution has not yet been implemented. But they are actually already amending a constitution before it is implemented. And I think knowing ZANU-PF, that information, wherever it is coming from, it is true. Yes, we have got a 93-year-old president, and the people around the president, Minister of Justice, for example, is trying to gain favor with the first family, in a way. And unfortunately, the proposal does not include the parliament. The proposal has been sent to the cabinet, and the cabinet is purely ZANU-PF cabinet, and they are trying. So they've surpassed the parliament. Yes, and that whole scenario in the FICAD is not constitutional. But we know ZANU-PF. They don't respect the rule of law, and I can assure you that it will not be surprising that come even in the new year, the president will appoint unilaterally the Chief Justice. And all we do is, as an opposition, we oppose, we winch, and ZANU-PF will send their military boots on the ground. And anybody who tries to oppose or to demonstrate will be crushed ruthlessly. And this is the government that you and me call our own government. So, DJ, there's quite a lot at stake here for Zimbabweans. It is not a small issue. It is larger than what is being reported.
So, I mean, when I read it on Monday as well, I was a bit shocked with it. And I thought, I think it was Sally who said, what was the point of the constitution when it will never be followed by ZANU-PF, basically? But how can the president have these powers? It's beyond me. How can he choose everybody, you know, even in our justice system?
Yeah, it's a good question. But again, ZANU-PF sees themselves, yes, they used, they rigged the elections in 2013, right? And they used Nikov. They now have got a quasi 2/3 majority to do anything. And they are at liberty to inflict further pain to Zimbabweans. They can disregard the constitution of Zimbabwe, which was voted 96% by Zimbabweans. To them, I mean, who would argue that the person with the unfortunately, in the same constitution, that 2/3 majority that they are using, they are cherry picking it from the 2013 constitution. And they have been cherry picking certain sections of the constitution that suit them. Anything that doesn't suit them, they don't have money to implement. What do you do with such a government? This is where we are.
Okay. Thank you so much, Pepe, for that. Chief Sodza muri kungobuda muchipinda rega ndikupei mukana next kuti pamwe tingazobva
kuti internet yangu iri kuita sei pandiri panapa
tisati takuruzai zvachose. What did you take of this zviri kuitika izvi zvekudzi anzi ma-interviews have been suspended? Now the government wants the president to be given all the powers to just cherry pick whoever he wants there. No interviews, no qualifications, nothing. The president should have the power to just pick who is going to be the next justice, Chief Justice.
Yes, I think we are seeing a repeat of what happened in 2013, when one Mawarire, I don't know whether he's related to our
Ivan.
hero Mawarire, Ivan, I don't know, because you remember that the opposition didn't want to go for elections, and then we had one Mawarire saying he's standing in for the people of Zimbabwe, and he petitioned the government to force the government to declare election dates. And that was just one person. And we all know that that person was a ZANU-PF plant. And he was purporting to be acting on behalf of the citizens of Zimbabwe, which was not true. And now we are seeing the same thing again. A fourth-year University of Zimbabwe student is the person who started all this, even petitioning the government. I don't know on whose behalf. Obviously, he is purporting to be representing the interests of the Zimbabwean people. But again, that's not true. It's a ZANU-PF ploy. That's what they always do. There is a lot behind the scenes. There is a lot behind the eye that we are not seeing that ZANU-PF is already doing. And the people I'm talking to are suspecting that all these are machinations of Mnangagwa. He's already preparing for his presidents. And you would see that he was the first person, or his team, the people who are in the La Costa team, were the first people to acknowledge what that 40-year student had done. So it's unfortunate. It's again a great miscarriage of justice. The system that was there should have been allowed to carry over. They are trying here to change a constitution that they have not even aligned, to the demands that were made by opposition parties in 2013. There are about 276 amendments that they are supposed to align with the Constitution of Zimbabwe. They haven't done that. And now they want to amend the same constitution. Why don't they do what was agreed to first, in 2013, than for them to come up with other constitutional amendments? You can see here that it's part of a grand plan by ZANU-PF to take over the judiciary and to continue to mess around with our human rights.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. So what do you think should happen, Chief?
This should not be taken out of context. We should not allow them to cherry pick. The people of Zimbabwe should just unite and reject that. They can do that, but as long as they also make the other 276 amendments, as long as they align the 276 amendments with the present constitution, not to just take cherry pick whatever they want. If they want to make a constitutional amendment, if they want to make changes in the constitution, they should do everything, not to just pick whatever suits themselves and makes themselves happy.
Okay. Aiwa. Thank you so much, Chief Soswe, for that. Rekaendende kwamuri Mkoma
Can I
Wilbert.
just come in there?
Yes, Mkoma Wilbert, it's your turn now. What's your take on this story?
The new constitution that was passed in 2013, section 180, appointment of judges, it actually says that the when there's a vacant, it should be advertised, and then Mugabe and the public can make their nominations. Then the people nominated will be invited to attend the interviews.
Yeah.
And then a list from that those interviews, 3 people will be submitted to the president. If he doesn't like any one of those, he will tell them, do the exercise again. And after the second time, he has got appoint 1. So I don't know what amendment they are talking about here. But ultimately, even in the new constitution, Mugabe would make the final appointment. So if he doesn't like any of the 3 that he made, he can say no.
But
I think
the interview has been
without
suspended.
seeing the detail of the amendment, we could be discussing round and round in circles. I don't know what they are proposing to amend there. Where they
want to do away with the interviews. They want to do away with the interviews. Instead of having the interviews, Mugabe appoints them straight. There's no nominations and interviews.
I can tell you that Mugabe is in favor of Makarao, and mark my words, she is going to be appointed.
Okay.
Yeah, but isn't she in charge of ZEC?
But that doesn't matter. And today she has actually defended that yes, she has got the right to apply even today. She has got the right of being appointed on 2 commissions.
Yeah, but this particular case,
personally, I fought with her in 2013. She knows me very well.
Yeah, but with the present system, she could still have been one of the 3 or one of the 5 being interviewed, and then come out as one of the 3 to be appointed.
No, she's one.
She's gone through the system.
Robert.
Yeah, but they don't want that system.
Can I just remind you that she is one of the 3 being interviewed. There's Matlaba, there's Makarao is one of them. There's another one that I've forgotten. So she's one of them.
So why are they amending the constitutions?
Because they don't want the interviews. They just want Mugabe straight.
But the interviews could just be a formality. This is what ZANU-PF does. It goes through
but they don't want that.
When they already know who they want. I don't see why they would want to amend the constitution when they know they could still get their candidate anyway.
No, they would.
They can't. They go through all those interviews. So that can't you understand that, Wilbert? They don't want all that. They don't want the frills. They just want the bimba.
You know what happened? What happened is they would have foreseen that the person with the credentials and qualification is likely to be somebody who is antagonistic to ZANU-PF or to Mugabe. So they are trying to preempt that. That's how ZANU-PF does it.
Right. Okay. I want to hear from Mukoma Benford. Mukoma Benford, what's your take on this? Do you think it's a good idea that the president can just choose one rather than going through these expensive interviews?
Yeah, maita basa DJ Sodza. This is a little bit complicated. I think the president has the right to choose. So kutaura kwazva kuexplain kwazvaitwa na mukoma Wilbert according to our constitution already. Why I don't like what is happening is changing the rules in the middle of the game. In as far as I'm concerned, whenever that happens, it's not a good thing. You cannot change, the rules. We have to abide by what our constitution is saying. If at the moment our constitution says you have to call for interviews and people come and then Mugabe exercises his power, that is what we go by. If we are going to change it, it should apply in my cases such as we are later. But if you look at also at the angle that this university student is challenging this system, it makes sense to me in a way. Because, for example, Chiriao Siku has no business in selecting his successor. He should not be part of those interviews. I think that that is over. That makes sense. But again, from what Wapeve is saying, I sense something that I don't like from what he's saying. If he's saying they want to stop an interview because there is a judge who is deemed to be anti-ZANU-PF, then it shows that our judges are mixed. And in the end, that neutralizes everything. Because if you are saying Panama judge are pro ZANU-PF near Siri, that is what you expect under any normal systems. And if you get a judge who is anti-MDC, red lucky. But he's already saying that there are some judges who are anti-ZANU-PF. So in the end, I think it solidifies my thinking that our judicial system is still independent.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mukanya, do you like this system? Mukanya, are you still with us there?
You must be put on mute.
Ndikati, do you like what you are hearing, that the president should be given the powers to just cherry pick whoever he wants rather than doing interviews?
The president, in many instances, no appoint a judge, but a judge under through a system of interview, hearing, so that the public, because munhu achanzonika achino represent achino implementer, he's the final say on many things. Now, in I'm differing both from Benford and the Wafev. Benford is trying to say that our system is independent. It's not. But at the same time, I'm worried. Now, after they can kunema judges are anti-ZANU-PF. Because, but that defeat a purpose, judge. A judge should not be anti-ZANU-PF. A judge should not be anti-MDC. A judge should be pro-justice. Mono are neutral. Saka kana vanhu vachienda kunoita identify a judge, vanofana kuziva kuti iwe kana kesi iri kuzouya kwauri haigona be independent freely, because tikashandisa system idzi so that we put my judges are interested in some political parties, then it defeats the whole process of justice. So what I would like to urge in the equity system yataurwa na Wilbeck, if it's followed, I don't see why ZANU-PF will feel very worried about it. And the nyaya yekuti Chief Justice have a part of who decide who comes. He's a citizen, he's a senior person. I don't see what's wrong with he must be, he knows the system, he understands it. So his wisdom is very important, yeah, Chief Justice. Kuti kusarudza. He is an advisor, aringobatsira, but at the end of the day, the decision iri kuitwa na president. Anenge akavhoterwa nevanhu, who is elected by the people achirepresenta vanhu. Saka the judge should not be either pro-ZANU or pro-MDC. Munhu anofana kunge ari neutral. Administer justice as is.
All right.
The system in place right now is a good one. I don't see what's wrong with it. Vanu. And a judge, by the way, doesn't need to be a lawyer or somebody. A judge, judge a judge he doesn't need to be a lawyer, he doesn't need, anybody can be a judge. Of course, which one now they prefer my lawyers, but I don't think in constitution a judge should be a lawyer.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sally, we kind of had your side of the story there. Would you like to explain further?
For me, okay, as far as I'm concerned, no president should ever have anything to do with the judicial system. The judicial system is supposed to be independent, okay, and apolitical, which means it's not supposed to support any political party, okay? It's there for the law to protect the law, to protect the people. That's what they're there for, okay? So for me, the minute I hear you want to do away with the interviews and that whole selection process to just now give all the power to Mugabe, and he is the one that selects, that chooses, nobody else, okay? I mean, look, I'm scared of the judicial system in Zimbabwe. I am absolutely petrified. That's one of my reasons why I won't go back there. Because my mouth is too big. I know I will get myself into trouble. and to have to depend on that judicial system. Oh no, I don't trust it in a million years, okay? And what Fefe said, he didn't say that they were anti-ZANU-PF. He said the judges that ZANU-PF considers antagonistic towards them. In other words,
correct.
I don't know if you remember a court case to do with some farmer or something, okay? And the judge ruled in favor of the farmer, okay? And there was a performance. So that's what he means. Judges that are actually interested in going according to the law. That's what he means, antagonistic.
They should have said, Mr. Pepe.
He did say antagonistic. He did say antagonistic, but you guys didn't listen.
That's why I oppose. He should say the judge who are pro-justice, people who are fair. If you say antagonist to ZANU-PF, there's already some bias there.
No, it's not. It's not any bias. The only bias that is being shown is by ZANU-PF, okay? Now, shush everybody please, okay? My problem, another one of my problems, I thought ZEC was supposed to be completely neutral and everything fair and hunky-dory and beautiful and wonderful. Now, if the head of ZEC is now going to be the chief, my way, don't tell, Banana Republic is nothing. Is chump change compared to what is going on in Zimbabwe. And the problem is, the minute you touch that constitution, for any reason to amend it, I don't care, okay? And you have got 2/3 majority in the parliament or whatever, okay, that is ZANU-PF, you finish. You can take that constitution, make a laka fire there, okay, make a chisanyama and use the constitution for firewood. Finished. Because seriously, it's a waste of time. Why they ever made a constitution, I don't know. The thing hasn't been put into operation properly, okay. I mean, it's a waste of time. This is ZANU-PF. And you know what? 2018, they're going to win again.
Right.
Because this is all leading up to that.
Oh yeah, they're going to win the big way 2018.
2018 is going to be landslide for ZANU-PF. They are building up, they're building up, they're building up. Please, hey, you people, do you know the time for change came? Do you know when? When the people hit the streets. Now that's gone. Finished, there's no change. Now you can say, oh, okay, fine. For the next 500 years, ZANU-PF, finish. We might as well just carry on, because that is how it's going to be. Until every single one of those old boys in ZANU-PF are dead and underground. Okay? That is how Zimbabwe is going to be.
Right.
The chance was lost when the people stopped supporting the activists and stopped going to the streets. Finished. That was it. Time is gone.
That is it. The time is gone. Right. It's 28 minutes after 11 Zimbabwe. I'll be back after this 1 minute break.
Are you struggling to make it happen? It pays to advertise with Zimbabwe's #1 internet radio station. You can never go wrong with Zimnet Radio. Send an email today to marketing@zimnetradio.com.
zvisinei mhuri yezimbabwe ndozvazvinoita. Regai tifambire mberi nerimwe nyaya iri kubuda kuzimbabwe uko as we speak. Kwanzi iko the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe made disturbing revelations this week that some devious characters have already started illegally benefiting from the diaspora remittances using international debit cards. The immoral individuals and groups are taking advantage of the recently introduced remittance incentive to encourage Zimbabweans in the diaspora to send money back home through official channels. The diaspora remittance incentives, together with the incentives for the exporters, were introduced in a bid to boost local production. In its wisdom, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe introduced a 5% incentive on exporters funded by a $200 million backed bond notes facility. But as we reported yesterday in the Herald Business, though the margin is small, some Zimbabwean residents have been operating syndicates where they use international debit cards such as MasterCards and Visas to withdraw money in regional countries and send it back to themselves through agents such as Mukuru and Western Union, using relatives and friends to earn the remittance bonuses. Kwanziko, do you understand what they are talking about here? What is it? If I send Mari Kumbanas, if I send $20 to my mom today, is she going to get $25?
No, what happened is, can I answer that? Sorry.
Yeah, please do.
Mukatumira $25 US dollars and But you are receiving $25 US dollars. What happened is the government, about $25 US dollars. You go up 5% in bond note of that amount.
Ah, okay.
The incentive yard.
No, but it's got to go through. It's got to go through the legal channels, not the side ones.
To go through the legal channel, like Western Union or whatever. Now, what is happening? What they are talking about here is that
okay. Sorry.
Somebody's got a radio.
Yeah, sorry. Mkomata Fatwa.
Sorry, I didn't realize. Sorry, I switched it on.
Okay.
Yeah. So what they are saying is somebody, because you can go to, there are quite a lot of Zimbabweans who bank with, say, Barclays or Standard Chartered. So they've got a local card and also an international card. And because US dollars is an international monetary exchange. So what is happening is they've got their money in the bank. And then when they bank are Ramari. So they cross into Botswana. They withdraw money using their credit card, MasterCard or Visa card. They then send it to themselves.
Right.
Can you see what I'm talking about?
Yes.
They then send the money from Botswana. They will withdraw Pula in Botswana. Then they will send that money. Let's say it's me. Then I'll send that money to Elliot in Zimbabwe. And then I will drive back to Zimbabwe. I'll go to Western Union.
And say, I need the money.
Yes. And then in Botswana, I would have said, I need that money in US dollars. Because with Western Union, you can tell them what type of currency. You can say, I want them to collect pounds or yen or whatever. They will do that. So I would draw Pula, send the Pula, and say, this person called Elliot, I want him to collect US dollars. But that's me, Elliot.
Yeah.
Right? And then I would drive back to Zimbabwe, go to Western Union, I present my ID.
Yeah.
I get my money plus 5%
of being good and being sent because vamatumira mari kuZimbabwe, which is what is encouraged.
Yes. and then that money I can put it back in the bank account. I go back to Botswana. So each time I cross, I'm earning 5% of the money.
5% of the money.
So Reserve Bank didn't foresee this coming. Now that big shit, that big trouble. And they can't stop it. How do you stop that?
Mukamashafadzwa mafona mamuda kutaura nyaya dzemari dziri kutumirwa kuZimbabwe vachinzwana upo ama 5% boards kana kuti mamuda kutaura nyaya dzatatombotaura earlier.
Inini, I can briefly talk about earlier than talking now.
Okay.
No, my the whole way I look at this nomination in my judges is as simple as however way it's done should be in line with the Constitution. And so whether, they suspended and they're trying to do all these, trying to twist the law a little bit, I disagree with that. And I just say the judges should be appointed according to the letter of the Constitution. That's my contribution there. Whether Pachas appointed a ZANU-PF judge or an MDC judge, the constitutional process has to be followed. So I would be more curious to see what caused the suspension, and if it's a suspension, so would the interviews resume again? That's how I look.
Okay.
Yeah, everything should just be on the letter of the Constitution. Constitution yedu my interviews, that's what we expect. If they deviate from that, then there's an issue, which ZANU-PF has done many, many times, which is why we find ourselves in the quagmire that we are in Zimbabwe, because of those deviations from the Constitution.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then Yama Bond notes, in Inangu, the way I look at it, first of all, the introduction Yama Bond notes Yachi was an illegal process yakaitwa near the government, because you cannot tell me that I have worked hard for many years and I have 50,000 United States dollars in my account. I should be able to withdraw that money upon withdrawal or upon demand. So ZANU-PF went, they spent the money through foreign transactions, purchasing of goods. Recently, wakatenga mazi mota ZANU-PF nemabazi for the Congress that's upcoming. Where are they getting all this money from in the first place? If they are saying that the country is going through a financial crunch, how come they are spending money like that? It's not exemplary of the punitive impositions that they've put on the people of Zimbabwe, to where you can't even withdraw your own money, and they are imposed to bond notes. So they can't even say it's a syndicate because in the first place, the introduction of bond notes itself was a syndicate. Because they knew they spent Maria Wanu, they didn't have the money on demand when people needed their money. And so I don't know why they're crying foul, because they're the ones that created this whole mess in the first place.
Okay. So Imimi, have you got any sympathy with the government now, with these people now, with gangsters that are going to South Africa and send 100,000 there and get the incentive they are getting, they go back again and so forth?
Sodza, it's not a syndicate, right? It's not. It's your money. I have $15,000 to Standard Chartered. I can spend it anywhere I want to in the world. It's my money. I put in the work, I earn the money. So if I go and withdraw it in Botswana, chandataza chi.
Right.
Hapana.
Hapana.
They are criminalizing people who would, under normal circumstances, be innocent. It's like you create a criminal out of somebody who earned their own money, go to Botswana, decide to withdraw it. Okay, if you give me 5%, that's your facility. But as far as I know, that $15,000 is my money. You did not earn that money, neither did you donate it out of charity. I put in my sweat and blood to earn that money. So how is that a syndicate? The fact that I withdrew it in Botswana or South Africa, because you introduced a punitive law which was illegal in the very first place, and which unnecessarily criminalizes people who worked hard for their money.
And DJ, there are two issues there. There's the issue, and upper example, I go to South Africa, I draw money, I send it to myself, I cross the border, I withdraw the money from Western Union, I get 5%, so I'm earning 5% of my money. But there's another issue, you are to complain about the Reserve Bank, whereby I go to Botswana or South Africa, I withdraw money, and then I send the money to my friends or relatives. So each one of them gets 5%. I go back in Zimbabwe
and take my money and leave them with the 5%.
No, I will take the 5% from them and the mandate that they've
received.
Yeah, and then I'll give them a commission. Maybe out of the 5%, I'll give them 1%.
DJ Sodza.
No, but
DJ Sodza.
But you see, Kuti, they created this. This is I see issue Yevan. If there's a loophole in the law, it's not fraud. If there's a loophole in the law, it must be understood. It's not fraud. Those are what they call my gray areas in the law, where you cannot necessarily say it's a facility, that's the end. If they're doing it and you do it the proper way, so
yeah,
what's illegal there?
It's legal.
DJ Sodza.
Alright, gati mudzokana mukanya.
Yes.
Chiri kundirwadza hapana pachinohwani DJ Sodza. Hapana nehanya nenyika yedu.
Right.
Yeah, zvavari kutaura zvavo ndezvemutemo, whatever, their laws and so forth. Hatichisina hanya nenyika yedu. Saka chero zvinongoti benefita izvozvi, chero zvichiparadza nyika, hatina basa nazvo. Spirit iyo, mirai ndipedze kutaura. Spirit iyo iyi, ndio handiri kutaura kuti zvino nyika iyo iyi inovakika here nevanhu vakadai, both opposition nevanozviti vari kutonga vacho, mendariti yavo yangoparadza Zimbabwe yakangofanana. Cho chiri kundirwadza
chinorwadza inini hangu ndechekuti vanhu vari vopasa
kuti chero the idea yekuti vanhu vanokudza kuti regai ndinde ndinotora mari munyika mangu ndodzokera ndodai. Yes, kune maproblems negovernment yedu and whatsoever handidika, but panenge pachida kuitwa zvinhu vakomana, why don't we try to strive to do the right thing? Whether some people are doing wrong things handidika.
Yes, kutoti hurumende yaita zvakanaka, because vanhu instead yokuti akaita dhiri rake achatsvaga basa, because basa racho hariwaniki.
Basa rirokuwanikwa seko inzwai vapevi inotaura kuti hatichisina hanya nenyika, we don't care. Zvinongobenefita imimi chete kana kuti imimi ndo what you care. That is the spirit which is now iri kutonetsa muZimbabwe kuti chokwadika. What is the point yekuti I know kuti vanhu vanoona kuti zvakarongwa nereserve bank rikatimaicha, but that is destroying your own country and destroying you as well. In the long run, all of you are going to be destroyed.
Okay.
But how
does that
how did
destroy
we
you?
there? How did we get there?
Yeah, and then how
So
did
getting there is not important. The important ndekuti mune rudo nenyika rwenyu here kana kuti mangoti ngatingoparadza tese.
That's important. We need to. Hamungati hazvina hanya because munhu haungosviki pavari usingatarise kumashure kuti chakakonzera kuti tive patari.
Saka ndekuti mumwe munhu airova mai vako nezuro mangwanai onovarovo futi ka.
Okay.
Handicho chikonzero ka.
Okay guys. Regai timbopawo vamwe mukana.
Unodzidza ka hauzoitawo zvakaitwa izvozvo zvakashata zvacho.
Regai timbopawo vamwe mukana. Chimbobatai makadaro. Kuna vari kundinyorera kunoku hanzi how much does it cost to send money to Zimbabwe? I think it's more than 5% that incentive. I don't think that makes sense anyway. Chief Sodza.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. You know, in Shona we say indomena haichemedze. You know, ZANU-PF brought this to themselves, and this problem that we are discussing here should be the least of their worries. The 5% issue, it should be, you know, at the back of their minds, because there is more that is coming. They should be worried about the parallel market, the black market that is already unfolding in Zimbabwe right now. And it's way more than the 5% issue that we are discussing. You are in TM, you are in OK, and you have your plastic money, you have your card, and someone wants, you know, to make a payment, but he has US dollars or bond notes. People are making the black market right there. You know, the one who wants cash will go and swipe for you, and you know he gets more US dollars, or he gets the US dollars that you have. And I can tell you before the end of the year or 2 months into the Christmas period, of course, nothing is going to happen because a lot of foreign currencies will be coming into Zimbabwe. Vemaranzi, njiva dzinenge dzichiuya muZimbabwe, vekuBotswana will be bringing in a lot of forex into Zimbabwe. After January, after February, you are going to see what is going to happen. You know, that bond note is going to crash, and we are going to have a very thriving black market in Zimbabwe. So this 5% that we are discussing is the list of the problems that the government is going to have.
Yeah.
And they cannot blame anyone. They brought this to themselves. And in Kenya, we cannot even blame the people. The people are just trying to make ends meet. Everything has to start from the top, cascading to the bottom. If our leaders don't care about our country, what do you expect of the general people who are suffering every day? They live in mansions. They have millions. They are even buying Maring 1.4 million. You know, and then I'm just trying to eke a living from the little that I have. If I take advantage of that 5%, you are saying I'm destroying the country. They are destroying the country. All fingers should be pointing at them. We cannot blame the people here. The people are just doing what is, you know, what they can do, and it's legal, you know. And even if people end up doing black market and encourage black market, we cannot blame the people. We blame ZANU-PF.
Okay.
DJ, can I respond to kuna listener taura kuti we pay 5%, so yeah. That is more than 5%. That is not much. Because I think it's important that we engage in my listeners head. Example yandapaka. It's not an example. It's what is happening. That is what the Reserve Bank is saying. It's not money outside the country. Yes, maybe but 5% or 6%, that's something else. Mari atikutaura nezvayo imari iri muZimbabwe kudhara. Munhu ari kuZimbabwe ane mari yake iri kubank. Ocrossa border. Across border odraw mari yake in a foreign currency. Ozvitumira iye kuZimbabwe. Hazvinei 5% dzatikutaura kana uri kuUK or USA. Munhu ari muZimbabwe.
Okay.
People are actually making a living. They don't need to go to work. Because each time they cross border is 5%. When they come back, 5%. They go back 5%.
But hang on, Fefe, hang on a minute.
DJ Sodza, can I make a comment here?
How much are they paying at the Western Union? Because you've got to pay
to make a transaction, yes.
To make the transaction. It's you know what's happening? The people are actually losing.
No, they are not.
Yes.
No, but for your information, Africa, they are very smart. This is why they are ahead of their own government. Government, the Reserve Bank didn't think about that. They are ahead of that. They've done all those calculations. They would never do that if they are losing. Never ever.
Wait and see.
Okay. Regarding Zgopana Mkoma Benford.
I think zviri kutaurwa navapebve. Hypothetically it makes sense, but practically hazviimplementiki zvavari kutaura given the financial situation yemuzimbabwe. Vari kutaura zvokuti unotora mari wondoipiwa wodzokera nayo. If you factor in the logistics involved, could it make a sense? You would need to deposit a lot of money. Ndokuti the 5% yako itange kumeka sense to start with. And most of these people we are talking about havana mari dzinosvika kuti zvimeke sense. So if that is coming from the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, here's what I think they're trying to do. Because initially vakanga vachiti mabondi notes, they're going to use it as an incentive for my exporters and people who are bringing money to Zimbabwe. And they now want to stop that program and use that as an excuse. This is why we are stopping it. And voramba injector mabondi notes are funding their own other, their extra activities. What they told us that they were going to do. Otherwise, it does not make practical sense.
Okay. Right. Tina Trisha changotibata hapo. Hello Trish. Trish, are you there? Yes, can you speak up please? We can't hear you properly.
Let me see.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Oh, okay. No, I've just been listening to the discussion and I've just been wondering this 5% incentive, because from my understanding, like for example, 120 or 120 something dollars, or no, like your Hamas are good to Zimbabwe, the 105 bond. So where is this money coming from? Is there, what government when we all know the government is broke?
Right. So who wants to answer that question? Where is the 5% that are going to be given for free coming from?
I can answer that question.
Yeah, please do.
They are print. So you send 100 US, and then Amayago to Mira, whatever facility they're talking about, then they get an additional 5 bonds, my bond notes, or $5 in bond notes. The fact of the matter is, that government is just printing paper. Bond notes are not a currency. They don't have to necessarily justify where the money is coming from. They're just printing pieces of paper. And they're getting that money, Yawatumira, which is real money. So it doesn't cost them anything, to be honest. Because the bond note is just a paper that they created, and they decided and said, oh, it's tied to this $200 million facility. But I can guarantee you they're going to print more than that 200 million. With the way you can see my policies are and the extent to which that whole bond note issue is within the country, because it's affecting everyone. So if it's just that 2 million facility, it shouldn't necessarily affect the whole country or affect the monetary policy to the extent affect right now. So it doesn't cost government money. Government gets the money that you send, they exchange it and give Amayago my bond notes, and they move on.
Right. Okay. So
can I just comment?
DJ, I think our listener need more than that. It does cost the government money, okay? But government is trying to appear as if this is free money to entice vanhu outside the country kuti vatumire mari, because hakuna monetary circulation. Problem iripo muZimbabwe ndeyekuti hakuna mari iri kucirculate. Saka iwewe ukati, if I send 1,000 US dollars anditika ndinopiwa 50 US dollars. Ndikuiti 50 US dollars because Mugabe akaisaina kuti bond is okay? So that's theoretically in the country is 50 US dollars for free. So people outside there, you and me are going to be enticed. Kana uchina, that's a lot of money if you are dealing with a project. You're to me like US dollars. Because you got to me like
but Fefe, hang on a minute. They're not giving you US dollars. That 5% is in bond notes.
Yeah, but you can go and buy with the bond notes.
But what I'm saying is, let's say I'm building a house for Zimbabwe, I then sent 10,000, okay, US dollars. I get 500 bond notes for free.
Do you get the other 10 in US dollars? The other 10,000?
Yeah, the 10,000 you get it in US dollars. No problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I send you 10,000. I send my whoever is my mom 10,000 US dollars. They will get 10,000 US dollars, and then a bonus of 500 bond notes as a thank you.
But how can they get the $10,000 if there's no dollars?
No. But that, if you are sending it from outside the country, that's what they are saying. It's an incentive.
Yeah.
They actually give them in dollars because I've sent money to relatives.
Yeah, they're giving in dollars, yeah.
Correct.
Right.
I've done that about 3 weeks ago or two weeks ago.
Saga, Mr.
If you are sending money from UK or anywhere else in US dollars and say I want them to receive in US dollars, the government will make sure that that person get in US dollars. It's an incentive because there's no money US dollars.
Right. Okay. So let's do the math. So the 5% incentive, how does it equate? Because now they're printing all these bond notes, these 5% incentives in bond notes. How will that equate to 200 million? Because they said they're just going to print up to 200, the value of the loan that they got from that bank. So
no, that one is a lie. Because why I'm saying it's a lie, get it from me. Why I say it's a lie, because they don't know how much money is going to be sent from outside the country. Right? They don't know. Yes?
Yeah, exactly.
Even if you are to, okay, we have said that annually is about 2 billion US dollars. Like if you say, okay, 5% of 2 billion, how much is it?
5% that would be about 125 million maybe.
You see, so in 1 year, you've already wiped half of the 200 million. Can you see that?
But that's just in remittances, because they're also printing for my day-to-day needs. They are in Zimbabwe. You understand?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was hypothetical.
So the math doesn't make sense. That's
yes,
why
right.
When people said, this is the return of the Zim dollar, and that's what it is, because essentially you're printing more than what you're allowed, or you said you would print it.
That's exactly what I said. That if you look at the remittance, they will go by about 120 million. right?
Yeah.
Already, annually. And then you've got, they are saying that the other part, which is the greater part, is for exporters. Export incentive, right? And we know that export incentive is about 3.5 billion, right?
Right.
Which is more than the 2 billion for remittance.
Right.
Already we are above the 200 million. Can you see?
Way above.
And that is only annually. We haven't even got into the second year. 1 year.
And so 200 million for what term? How long?
No, forever.
That's a joke.
Right. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, guys. Regaindi kubate miromo. Kune vari kundinyorera kuno anzi DJ, can you please tell mukoma Benford kuti kuZimbabwe kune vanhu vane mari semari, kwete vanhu vavari kufungira wekumaruzevha vavari kutaura avo. There is people with money. Have you seen the type of cars that people are driving there in Zimbabwe? So mukoma Benford, that was yours. Then this one is saying that anyone who has sent money via Western Union knows that it costs more than 3% incentive for you, incentive you will receive. Customer actually receive 3%. Right. Okay. Zvisinei muri yeZimbabwe ndizvo zvinoita.
Can I answer DJ so that that question angaitaurwa here?
Yes.
I know kuti kuZimbabwe kuna vanhu vane mari, but once you start sending a lot of money in the Western Union, you should also realize how expensive it becomes.
Exactly.
And the mate dziri kutaurwa the 5% idzoka, you'll be paying much more than 5% once you start to send a lot of money.
No, it's
Actually, you won't.
It's actually relative. The more money you send, the less the percentage.
The less the percentages, because
but
if you
cap,
send,
but
if you send
what?
like,
But there's
If
a
it-
cap, so
There's a cap.
up
Yeah.
to a limit, so maybe 3,000 or 4,000, up to that limit at a time.
well, Western Union's limit is 5,000, and if you send 5,000 via Western Union, it's they're gonna, if you use a bank account, the charge is just $30, but that 5% your government will be 250. So that means you're making a profit of $220
Correct.
for every
That's a lot.
5,000.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a lot.
Because then
People could actually take advantage.
Western Union. What percentage do they charge? Or it's a fixed amount?
I think I told you kuti maZimbabweans, they are not very daft. They would have done their calculations more than you. You people munongata mashift kamuri kunze kwenyika.
Can I say something, DJ?
I'm not stupid.
Yes, Mukoma will pitch.
No, I think what people are missing here is that these people who are actually making a lot of money, they are the real crooks. The ordinary person, they are not making any money. Like we all saying here. Some of us, we only send $100, $200, and so forth. So you will not make any money. But when you're talking of real crooks here, who have got real money, like somebody was saying there, who will be sending 200,000, and that money sent through the bank, and then it's transferred back again into their account, so that they get all that markup 5%. So they're making a lot of money from doing
Those
that.
ZANU-PF guys must be coining it and
Yes, one watch, man.
Yes, you know why the bank is complaining now? Why the governor is complaining? Because the ZANU-PF have coined it and they've taken all the money.
But it's their own people. Those people are those ZANU-PF people who we still don't know up to today where the 5 billion went to. It's those same people. It's not the ordinary person.
That 200 million is going to be finished less than 1 month.
So
What?
from my
Yeah,
my
well,
end,
well,
Finished.
if you have looked at the expenditure in government the last month, look at all the motor vehicles that ZANU-PF has bought. We've heard they've bought buses to bus people to Masvingo for the Congress. Well, if the country is truly going through a financial crisis where teachers have been said they're not going to be paid this before Christmas, so where are they getting the money to be buying all these cars from outside of the country?
Okay.
I have just one last comment on the bond notes. From my understanding, if you have bond notes in a bank account in Zimbabwe, you can actually go to South Africa, use your debit or use your debit card to swipe, and you can actually get runs from an ATM machine.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, DJ. I think we owe the people of Zimbabwe an apology, because I'm one of the people last week who was saying that it's not possible. I investigated and I found out that what our sister is saying is true. You can actually still get US dollars from your Zimbabwean account using a Zimbabwe Visa card while you're in UK or in America. So I would like to apologize to the people.
So if you've got 2,000 bond note, in Zimbabwe, go outside, you go and withdraw $2,000. It's fine.
Hey, DJ. That is.
No.
DJ.
Guys.
No.
Okay, hey.
For your information, that is a temporal arrangement in the sense that my bond introduced 2 weeks ago, and it.
Right.
My systems, my banking system, my international, they don't know the bond. They don't know.
No. Yeah, what Mr. Pepe said is correct, because and you know
The people are going to be queuing outside the banks.
No, but look, let's not lose the focus here. Bond notes. People have always had United States dollars in their accounts. Let's not lose that. People are being forced to replace my savings that have always been in foreign currency. So let's not forget that these are people who had real money and who should still, by law, be able to withdraw their hard-earned US dollars wherever they are. I doubt, you know, it's only fair that you get what you have in your account.
But
like Mr. Yeah, go ahead.
But I think something is gonna give. Something is gonna crash very, very, very badly. I mean,
look at it. This is a temporal thing. Problem, DJ, my computer throughout the world, and they haven't programmed with current on the bond note. So when you deposit in Zimbabwe, they still think you are depositing US dollars.
Exactly. If you deposit like 10
no,
bonds,
guys.
if you deposit 10 bonds.
No, wait.
But
guys, wait. Because funny, there's that central bank you need in my transactions between my financial institutions. The only reason that money goes through is because, say, one account you Standard Chartered, you draw from Standard Chartered in Europe. Those US dollars are technically still in your account, and Standard Chartered Zimbabwe is still honoring those demands and still transferring that money to then refund Standard Chartered Europe for Maria withdrawn in England. That hard currency is still there.
No.
So what you mean to say is that it's only temporary. It'll be that way until it gets to a point to where they've depleted all those the US dollars.
When they've depleted, and then Standard Chartered not account yakoga.
Yes.
Say Awasisina Mariacho, it won't even happen because they can't honor that obligation. On the other hand.
But Tafanzwa, the money, because all the banks would deposit like a reserve, okay, of the money. And it would be there for banks to draw on. That reserve was finished over a year ago. So there is no money.
They are trickles of money.
Can I just quickly add something? In the teacher finance, I want you to Google. More Google as when you could bond note to US dollars. Most of those are the exchange rate. You find that Google doesn't know the exchange rate. Right?
You know what, guys? Okay.
Go to any country, and give my exchange, my official money exchange. I'm
sorry. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Look just now.
Yeah, okay.
You close the whole loop.
Okay, pamsore ndanyorerwa kunoku ndanyorerwa nemashangu iti kunoku kwanzi DJ, please do not disclose my name, because if you do, you will be in big trouble. Inini myself, I know few people who are going to make millions of money. They've managed to get hold of bond notes in Zimbabwe. What they are doing, they are depositing the bond notes in Zimbabwe, a big chunk of money, and then they are going outside the country and withdraw some hard cash and put them away somewhere.
Exactly. DJ, system system.
But now, Fefe, what's going to happen?
I think I want to say it's the system. It's entrenched in the ZANU PF system. Just some normal guy.
Yes.
How am I going to get a whole bunch of bond notes?
It's the same ZANU PF. It's the same ZANU PF.
It's a scam. It can be printed. It's printed, isn't it?
What happens when the Standard Chartered can't reimburse the Standard Chartered in the UK in foreign currency?
The whole system collapses.
Right, I'm sorry.
When that loophole goes away.
Yes, this one is saying that under the incentive scheme 5%, 5% is split between the receiver 3% and the money transfer agent 2%. A lot of your panelists are speaking from an uninformed position. I'm very
about this. I don't know it that well yet.
Oh, hang on. I can talk from informed position. The 2% that he's talking about is the money that you pay when you are sending. Right? And then
which is already deducted from the profit from the.
Yeah, of course. I send money, I'm charged 2%. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, I don't care, right? Because I go to Western Union, I ask them, I want to send this money. I want the person out there to receive 500 US dollars.
Yeah.
Right? And they say, okay, if he is going to receive 500 US dollars, this is the total amount. They will add their 2%. That's fine. Right? But the person who is receiving from Zimbabwe will get the 3% incentive.
Right.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. So they are making money anyway.
Oh yes.
Well, yeah.
They are.
But it's 3% of imaginary money, which is not equivalent to US dollars.
Right.
It's fancy toilet paper. Okay.
Of that fake money.
Yeah, this is fake.
It is no backing. Like
it's fancy toilet paper with pictures.
It's almost like DJ Sodza will say, I'll send you $500, but I'll give you a 5% incentive. Then I cut up some paper. Yeah.
And that's DJ. What you need to understand also is that Western Union charges different rates depending with where you are sending from. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not uniform. If you are sending from Africa to an African country, it's even cheaper. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm.
If you try if you try to send a country a war-torn zone, it's higher.
Mm.
Or if they are under sanctions from the Western world or USA, it's higher.
Right. Okay.
So it's easier across the border.
There's going to be queues at the banks tomorrow morning. I'm telling you.
Right. Okay, guys. I think our time I chat for me Panapa. We have to make it a day. It's 16 minutes after midnight. Kunoku United Kingdom. It's a very good morning of Friday morning here. Thank you so much for participating, and all those guys who have been chatting to me on the side. They're sending me some information and all that. I'm absolutely intrigued about this because nobody know where these bond notes are being printed. Can you imagine if I get hold of that printer and print some bond notes and have a lot of bond notes in my account in Zimbabwe and fly to the UK and withdraw some pounds out of it? Honestly, that's a lot of money. Free money. Free money.
Listen, you be careful if you go to wipe your bum with those bond notes, because that green paint comes off. That green paint comes off.
DJ.
Yes.
Sodza.
Yes, bro.
I don't know how we are going to use this, but the session for today is unique. It's only you who have got it with the details.
Mm.
Yeah. It is entirely unique. It's not in the public domain out there. I don't know how you are going to use it. But
now you've got me intrigued.
But you forced us to say what we didn't want to say to you.
Why?
No. But the fact of the matter is, those people who have access to that money, it's all in the system. One has an PF, because
of course.
Hangu ndinomawane mabond notes asati apinda market. Serious.
How
do I even know that?
Do you know what happened is in fact kuti reserve bank yacho ka ndo inotowana vanhu vayo. It's an inside thing.
Right.
Okay. All right, guys.
Money